I hope men like to give. And for all those men watching out there, you better be a giver. Just saying. It'll keep your woman happy.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
Okay.
I've been painting like since first thing this morning, and I literally just had like a quick tub, and I'm feeling like just wow.
What are you painting?
My bedroom.
What color?
I am doing a focus, like a feature wall behind my bed. It's going to be like a peachy coral color, and then the rest of the walls are white. And it's going to be like a beautiful, like boho chic. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh,
it's going to be so cool. Yeah.
I always want to be a boho chic kind of girl, and then the bougie comes out of me, and I'm like, I have this like bougie boho thing. I don't know.
I love it.
Exciting. So
I'm so excited.
This is your first time having your own space. So
yes,
you mentioned that you were married before, which is totally fine. My fiance was married before, and
yeah,
he's amazing. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today, hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This is The Element. It's a women-centric podcast, live, I don't know, it's a safe space for us to talk about like girly stuff. And it runs the gamut of everything from like super fashion to like self-love to how do I feel comfortable in my own skin. So what made me want to talk to you today specifically is I know you're going through this like self-love like journey, and so I just want to like hear about it because I think number one, it's so cool, and it's important for women in general to love themselves. Like, love doesn't come from someone else, it comes from within. And so, you know, I want to tell everybody about your journey.
I'm so excited to actually like talk to you. Like, this is so cool. I feel like you're like right here with me. This is so neat.
I know.
I love it.
Well, and we became friends through Instagram, so we've never actually met.
No.
And you've become like a really good like IG BFF. Like,
yes, absolutely.
We talk about things, and you know, no one else really understands unless you're a part of the Instagram world. Absolutely. All the trials and tribulations of how do I gain followers? How do I get more women? How do I do all these things?
Yes.
And because of that, you know, I just started creating relationships with people who I thought were super cool.
Well, thank you so much for reaching out. This is so neat. It's a little bit about me. I am 45 and I've got two little boys. I started, gosh, it's hard to like pinpoint like when you start this journey because it's so like, it's just so gradual and evolves, right? Like just organically, right? Mm-hmm. But like I said before, I was married twice before. Actually, yes, twice, not just once before.
Hey, it's okay. My mother's been married like a zillion times. She's like 72 years old, and she's still living her best life. So
that's awesome.
I grew up with a hippie mom, so I have no issue.
I love it. So yeah, I married when I was 18 actually when I first got married, and then that lasted. It was basically like we were just like best friends, just having a flop house, having party house. That's all it was for like 7 years. After that, when I left that marriage, I got married again a few years later, and that one started out pretty, you know, normal, I guess. That actually turned out to be an abusive relationship that I was in for 17 years.
Oh wow!
So. I developed early, and you know, curvy little thing, and it just felt very awkward. Right?
And I can definitely identify with that. I developed very early as well, way before my friends. I mean, I think I started wearing a bra at like 9 years old, and like
I know
I had no idea what I was really doing, and I would wear hoodies and sweatpants and hair up, you know, try to just minimize myself. Yeah. So I completely identify.
Yeah. It was just in it, and then No.
we didn't have women looking like us in mainstream. Nope. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. There was no plus size magazines. There was no nothing. It was
support.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. No, there wasn't. And so, yeah, basically I kind of grew up always just feeling very different from everybody else, and just sort of had very, like just skewed image of myself, like of my body, and being told all these things. Just felt very shameful for having the body I had, getting the attention and not wanting it, but just having it, not really understanding it. So yeah, it was definitely difficult growing up. I absolutely hated having my photos taken. Absolutely hated it.
The irony of the future.
I know, right? And here I am.
And your photos are beautiful. Like your body is beautiful, and all bodies are beautiful. And
absolutely.
That's one of the things I absolutely love about you, is how you love your body and embrace it, and it's okay to look like you.
Exactly. Not knowing what questions to ask, not really feeling comfortable and confident, no matter what size I was. I mean, I ran marathons and I was just like a size 2 and was ashamed of what my body looked like. I've been everywhere from size 2 to size 16 and everything in between.
It's funny, people think only larger size people have body issues. I've been chunky my whole life, and yeah, of course I go through those times where like, oh, this doesn't look good, or like, oh, my pants are too tight. But generally I love my body. It's the body that is me. It is the body that has carried me through this life.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Absolutely.
But I'm not, a straight size person. I'm a plus size person and always have been.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and it's also crazy that you don't realize like men also have these body issues, the body dysmorphia, the confidence. They feel insecure as well, and we never talk about that. We only talk about, how, larger size people have body issues.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, it's like if you do things to make yourself look better, feel better, lose weight, that's like, who the hell do you think you are? You can't win.
How dare you change your body? And it's like,
exactly.
I'm happy. I want this. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I've been wanting lip injections my whole life, and everyone's like, you don't need them, but I want them.
Yeah, exactly right.
So it's very body image in this world and this media is a very strange concept, because you can't yearn for what somebody else has, but you have to love yourself enough, but you can't want to correct it, but you have to correct it. It's very confusing.
It really is. And then you really have to, I think that's why this is so important, is to not just to normalize it, but just to, shed light on it. Shed light on that there's lots of different views of this. And it's okay to be a size 14 and not love your body. It's okay to be a size 2 and not love your body. It's okay, because like, just because you're promoting body positivity does not mean that every single day you wake up and say, I fucking love this body. Some days it's like, but we're normal, right? And that's it, is that there's so many ebbs and flows to everything in life. And it's just about creating that safe space of like, this, it's okay. Whatever you feel is okay. Right. And you don't have to explain it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's the other thing, like when, you see plus size figures start to do a juice cleanse, like the whole Lizzo thing. She started doing a juice cleanse, and, I don't know the whole ins and outs of her life. She said she did it because she wanted to like cleanse from like the junk food eating, the drinking. I totally understand. But then she was shamed for like exercising, eating right. And it's like, hold on. Just because I want to fuel my body the right way and not like shove my face with burgers all the time, just generally. I just want to like slide in a salad with my burger and have a bowl of fries. Like, it's just the way the body is. So it's this great journey that you're on to love your body and to continuously love your body. And that is also what is very important. Absolutely. So continue with your journey.
Okay, so basically, I guess it was like not long after or not long before I left, I guess, my second husband, which would have been 3 years ago this March. So I would have been 42 at the time when I left. And I had been sort of digging into some self-development and personal development, things like that, prior to that. Like I had done, gone away to like yoga teacher training in Tulum and I've done things like that. And I've always been into like personal development and whatnot, but it was never supported on at the home level. It was never something that he was on board with. It was always just me. So I kind of would do a little bit, back up, do it, whatever. But then it just seemed like something shifted in me. And it's like, I did enough of that. And one day I'm like, I need to just not be in this space right now in order to fully develop who I am and really be able to see who I am and what are my likes and dislikes and where are my goals and aspirations. And it just happened to be, it was not in that specific relationship, which, as I said before, which was a toxic, abusive relationship.
And this is something that I have to learn as well within my own relationship is how do I be myself, and then how do I be myself with this other person without losing who I am within
Right.
being with this other person who is absolutely amazing and like he's a saint to even put up with me most days. But
yeah,
it's this really interesting balancing act that we have to figure out is how do we ensure not to lose ourselves within our relationship? And then when we get out of a relationship, if it's a bad relationship or ends poorly, how do we then refine who we are? Because now we're 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from where we started of who we are.
Yeah. And you constantly evolve and you grow and you change, right? And that's the thing too, is that you have to, it's like you're tethered to that one point in the center, but you're able to like move all around and do your stuff, but not lose the center of who you are. And sometimes it's, you lose people along the way, along the journey, other times you gain other people and it just, and dynamics change and whatnot. So, but
that's fantastic. So what tools are you utilizing to be on this journey? Like how are you self-discovering at this point in your life?
Okay, so basically I've always been in alternative therapy. So that's something since my early 20s I've been involved in with massage, reflexology, Reiki, any kind of like alternative therapy practice. I've always
I'm with you. I love reflexology, chakra balancing, Reiki, all of it.
All of that. Yeah.
So sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say, so basically that's kind of always been my wheelhouse is alternative therapy. And I just have always added to that along the way, like over the years. And since I left about 3 years ago now, it's probably been about 2.5 or so years that I started working with my mentor in different avenues. And she is, I'm working with Celeste Lemieux. And so I tag her lots of times in my posts. She owns a little boutique in a city that's close to me, and it's Positive Passions. So I'm also a consultant with her. And so what she does is like everything sexually educated, body positivity, sex positive, all of that stuff. So she is the one who, and she's also very much in, the alternative therapy as well. So that's sort of her wheelhouse as well. So we connected about 2.5 years ago, and we've just been doing lots of different training and mentorship. And currently I'm with her doing my Tantra training. Okay.
So what exactly is your Tantra practice? What does that encompass? Tell people what that is.
Okay. So Tantra is the balance of spiritual and sexual. So it's creating a union between the two. And that's what's teaching me so much about myself, about my beliefs and my thoughts and my process and how I'm viewing my masculine, my feminine, and how I'm able to then utilize that energy when I'm working with other people. So
Okay.
I'm also a men's rights advocate. So I have, aside from the body positive stuff, I have a completely different life over here where I am a men's advocate.
So what is that like? I've never heard of this. I've never heard of somebody being a men's rights advocate. You know, we hear about women's rights, we hear
yes,
about all these other rights. We never, again, I didn't know until recently, really, that men even suffer from the same issues I do. Like,
right?
until one of them told me, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
Right? Because it's not discussed, it's not talked about, because men have just always just been like, it's women's issues. It's always like, but we're all human beings. So of course they're going to have issues like, being hurt in a relationship. People always just think, oh, it's the woman who gets hurt, and the man, it's like, oh, I'm fine, I'm just going to move on.
right.
Why would you think that somebody, like, they have a heart as well, they get hurt, right? And
They
have these emotions.
neurons as we do. Like,
exactly. They may not show the emotions as openly as we women do, but they still have like body issues, and they still think about weight loss and weight gain and muscle and how they're looking to their partner, and who, and being hurt or being rejected when they're putting themselves out there, on a dating site or whatever, right? So
back to your tantra practice. So what do you do in that? Like, how are you self-discovering?
okay, so basically, it's a year-long mentorship program that I'm working on. So we started back in September, and there's just there's just a lot of tapping into like different activities and different exercises to learn more about your masculine side and about your feminine side, and how you show up as a masculine, how you show up as a feminine, because we all have masculine and feminine energies in our body. So it's just, which one are you kind of tapping into more? Where are you utilizing that energy, and how are the dynamics with that side of you in certain situations?
So can you give an example as to what is, for those who don't know, what is masculine energy versus feminine energy, and how would you necessarily tap into that?
Okay, so the masculine is very giving. Masculine energy is very giving. Like, I actually have so many female clients who have I told somebody this just a couple days ago. We're so, like, as females, we've gotten so tapped into our masculine energy, which is like that, we've been suppressed for so long, and it's like now we need to just like take over the world. It's like you can still be very powerful without feeling like you need to take over the role of a man. The men still have their role, in the sense of like, women are receiving. In order to be when you receive, then you're in your feminine energy. That doesn't mean that you are submissive. It doesn't mean that you are any less than. It just means that you know when to receive, and men like to give. Men are very logical and very black and white and very.
I hope men like to give. And for all those men watching out there, you better be a giver. Just saying. It'll keep your woman happy.
and women need to learn how to receive, right? Like, a lot of women just
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that the biggest example of that is when I tell people, when a woman gives you a compliment and says, you have beautiful hair, Elle, like, I love it. And you're like, oh, thank you. Well, you have great hair too, right? It's just almost like it's like, I don't receive it. It's like, I'm just going to take it and give it right back.
Instantly deflecting by giving you a compliment and saying,
exactly.
Like, thanks, girl.
Exactly.
And keeping it moving.
Exactly.
But it's funny, because in girl world, that's seen as being stuck up. She's full of herself.
Right.
How she's a bitch, you know, and we label, and it's like, okay, so how can I be receiving of energy, of feminine energy, of receiving compliments from others without being that? How can I be boastful and powerful without being seen as wanting to be like a man?
Yeah. Well, that's just it. I mean, you just so much of it is your intent. It's like, just receiving it and just being literally open to receiving that. It's like, okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. And that's it. Just be open to receive, because the more that you do that, the more it it sort of taps into that feminine energy, and it by recognizing it, and also just knowing that there's times and places to be in your feminine, and there's times and places to be in your masculine. And like I said, you can be very empowered and very strong in a feminine, like as a female, but know what side you're pulling that from. Like, are you trying to, like, trying to take over the role of a man by trying to direct and trying to, this is where we're going after supper here, and just all these things that women do, and without the intention, they emasculate men. So men are then left to say that, where do I fit into this? And
men want to fit in. They want to give.
Yes, they do. They want to give, but they also don't want to. It's been so long of, like, women have, like, had to fight for so long that all of a sudden the women are, like, way up here in the energy, and it's like you're taking over into the masculine side. Now all of a sudden the men are feeling like, I want to give to you, but now you're just taking, and now you're just, like, expecting that I'm going to be your ATM, or that I'm going to do all these things for you, right? Sometimes men are going to be more in charge, sometimes women are going to be more in charge, and it's that balance, that it's like a dance, an ebb and flow of, like, having to give and receive.
It's
right?
funny you say about the dance. I have a fiance. He's a very strong man, and I'm a very strong woman, and I know who I am. He knows who he is. It's wonderful. We have great communication, and there are definitely times where I just let him be the man, and it feels great to just be the woman, be taken care of, be adorned, be flattered. And then there are times where, when we went shopping for my new car that I don't have, and they tried to sell me something I didn't want, and he just let me be bad cop. Yes. And he was my good cop, and he knew he knows me enough to know that, like, I need to do this. I can handle myself. I can make decisions. I can be direct. I can be forward and stand my ground. And he was like, I'm sorry, she's so pushy. She's so aggressive. I'm so sorry. And he's more of like, I'm just letting her do her thing, because you guys are trying to tell her that these wheels come on this car, and we all know they don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let somebody push me around. If we go out to eat and the service is bad or whatever, I let him handle it. He's way more tactful than I am.
Right.
And he knows I have, and so when it's, like, super duper bad, he just goes, just Beverly Goldberg it. I don't know if you have the Goldbergs in Canada.
I don't know.
It's a sitcom here in the U.S. I'm Jewish, and it's about a Jewish family in the 80s. And Beverly Goldberg is the mom. She has, like, the big 80s hair. She wears, like, the ugly sweaters all the time. She loves her kids intensely, and she can talk her way out of any situation. And so I'm the Beverly Goldberg.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I have better hair, and it's not the 80s.
And see, like, that situation, that's exactly when it's like him allowing you to just be in your space, and he's backing you up, and that's awesome, right? But there's times when it's always just like, I know I can deal with this, but I'm going to allow you to just, like, step up, and you take care of it, because what that's doing is it's feeding his masculine energy, and by you stepping back, it feeds your feminine energy.
Absolutely.
Right? And so just having that constant, like, ebb and flow, and not knowing that it's not being submissive, and it's not being weak to be feminine, because it's always this idea of, like, the damsel in distress, and you're a weak woman if you're not standing up for yourself, and you're not being, like, in somebody's face and being powerful. You can still be super powerful without even, you can walk into a room, and that's where energy comes in. You can walk into a room, and you will just get attention just by your energy. You could just walk into the room, and you got it, right? Yeah. That's when you have the most power, is when you don't even have to say a word.
That's amazing.
It just speaks for itself, right? Yeah.
And that's cool. The goal, right? It's like,
exactly.
We want our presence to speak for itself, as opposed to our necessarily outer appearance. Like,
exactly.
So that's the goal. So
Absolutely.
in your journey, how are you doing? Like what are your results? How are you measuring your journey?
Like I said, I started about 3 years ago on this journey, and when I started my body positive account, it was probably about 2 years ago now. So when I started modeling, and I honestly had no idea what I was doing when I first got in.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Like most of us.
Yeah, and like I didn't even know like what's my intention with this. Like I really didn't even know what my intention was, and then just sort of slowly, it's just getting more and more like defined as I move along. And it's like I wanted more female followers, and I wanted more. Like I have a lot of male followers, and it just feels like over the last like maybe year or so that has really the caliber of male followers has really risen. I have got such a powerful pack of men who will just slay for me, and I know that. And same thing with the women. I've got such a powerful pack of women that are just so invested in me as a person. So that's the quality of both of them has just been amazing. And that taps into me. It's like, okay, well, my intention is to, share more information about being sex positive and body positive. And because I was in an abusive relationship with my ex-husband, and I have 2 little boys, and knowing that my husband grew up in an abusive home, to me, that was like, okay, I need to stop this cycle. It's now my job to stop this cycle with my boys, right? And also being because I never had, nobody was ever open with me growing up about, body issues, sex, anything like that. So I'm very open with my boys. I'm very, like everything that I do on Instagram and social media, they're aware of that. I have those conversations.
I'm going to ask you, like, how do you raise your boys as a woman who came out of an abusive relationship in this culture of consent and what that means, and how to respectfully approach a woman? Because, girl, let me tell you, and I'm sure you get it in the dating world, these men do not know how to approach women.
Yeah.
How are you prepared to teach them about these issues as a woman who went through something traumatic?
Basically, what I'm doing, same thing with all the men that I work with in the Men's Project, is it gets down to the foundation. The foundation is knowing who you are as a person in this world today, knowing so deeply who you are, so that you are, whenever you're questioned about something, you never have to think twice about where you stand on certain situations, where you stand on, what's your view on sex, what's your view on your body, the way it looks right now. To just be so deeply in tune with who you are as a person, getting out into the world, so that when you know who you are, you will not accept disrespect, nor will you give disrespect, right? You know how.
That's very good. That's a very good point. That's very good.
And I think, the stuff about like the dating and the, I guess the finer details of that will come. But it's just more right now, it's just that laying that foundation of just really getting to know so deeply who you are as a person. And that's even just in relationships with other kids his age, with other like buddies that he has. And then that will just sort of ingrain itself into relationships with girls as it develops, is what is my thought.
And that's a great approach. And I think part of the reason I have my confidence, other than my mother just always encouraged it, was she didn't just always encourage my confidence, she always encouraged me to have opinions, have thoughts, talk about them, validated them. And by allowing me to figure out who I was while validating my feelings and my thoughts, that helped me build my confidence. So now as an adult, when you get those one-off comments of like negativity, it just really rolls off your back because you're so in tune with who you are.
Exactly. Me, I base everything on energy, right? So I mean, if you raise your vibration, your energetic vibration, then you're going to attract somebody who is a like-minded and like vibration to you.
That's
so if
right. You're a Cancer.
Yes.
That's right. So I'm like, how does this girl know my life? Like, because there are times he'll be like tired from work and just like not in it, and I'll be like, dude, what's wrong? And he's like, I'm fine. I'm like, no. You're giving me vibes that you're not like okay. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I just know you're not in a good mood. So like, what can I do for you? Like, I want to fix this. Or you walk into a room and you can feel the energy, and you're like, I had nothing to do with this. I'm just gonna leave now. Yeah. I truly believe that the energy that people give off, I can feel. I'm very empathic. I cry at commercials. I don't know if my friend Michelle is still on here, but she's another Cancer, and we have bonded over the fact that we cry at like the dumbest commercials.
Oh, that's funny.
So I totally understand feeling the vibe, and even just being like in the massage and spa world, you kind of have to be able to read your clients' energy, read their stride, read how it is that they're
the nonverbal.
Yeah. Because you want them to leave feeling better. And so, do I have to recycle this person's energy and give them new energy? Do I have to, are they looking for more fluid service to kind of get that euphoria to feel happy? And you talked earlier about the chakras, and I am a classic closed heart chakra person. I used to have walls around my heart. I used to not let people in. I still don't, except for my fiance and a very few people. And it always hurts when they do the reflexology. It always hurts at my heart chakra, and they always dig, and I'm like, why? Why? So, yeah.
That is so common. That's so common for people to be so protected of their heart. Like, it's just because we're human beings, and right, we just want to love and be loved, and some people can be just take that and just abuse it, and it's hard. It's a hard journey to get back to, to feeling safe again.
And I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I want people to be genuine and good, and I want them to be nice and kind and loving, and it can be 15 years down the road, and then you finally see who they are, and it still hurts. Because it's like, for so long you showed me so much love and so much support, and then on a flip of a dime you just became this nasty person, and I literally don't know how to deal with it. And it's heart-wrenching, and because of that, people create walls, people create boundaries, and when it comes to connecting with another person, it's hard to break that down. And so on your journey of self-discovery and self-love, I think it's really awesome because you're learning how to break down those walls, and even within yourself, because I'm sure you have self-barriers that you created where I'm not going to feel this. I'm not going to do this. And it's like, well, yes and no. You have to have those moments, because that's what's going to build you. And that's what's going to make you a stronger person, are those experiences. Absolutely. So I read a couple of your posts that you made on this journey. So I'm going to ask, how is the celibacy gone? Girl, how are you doing it?
Oh, that's part of the Tantra. That's part of the Tantra training.
Oh my goodness.
Is I was initially, in the beginning of December, I was tasked to go 2 weeks with nothing, like no masturbation, no intercourse, nothing for 2 full weeks. I did that, and after that she's like, oh, you did really good at that, so now I'm going to give you 60 days. I was like, oh my God. So I think it was like day 28, 29, I totally fucked up. 100%. And she's like, that means now we're back to day 1. And it's like, okay. No. So I think I'm on like day 12 now. and literally counting down the days. And but you know what? Honestly, at first I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this? Right? Not understanding. And it's like, okay, now it's like they say, like when somebody's blind, all the other senses are heightened, right? So it's like if I can't experience pleasure that way, it's like, okay, I'm a lot more aware of all the other things that are around me and how I'm interacting with it, because it's not, you can't just, if you're stressed out, you can't just have like a quick little relief, right? It's right. Now it's like, okay, I need to now address this. I need to find other ways of going about this, and I can't do that. So now I need to like tap into other things and really dig deeper. And it's like, oh shit, okay.
So how did you combat it? Like, I don't want to say how did you release that energy, but like, how did you release that energy?
It's just been, I guess, it's been
like, is it like, ooh, the back massager feels so great, like on that 1 inch I can't get, oh my god, and you just like have your moment with your back itcher, like.
It's funny, I was literally just telling a friend today, like since then it's something simple, like just even in the shower, just being more conscious of like when you're like washing, and just being like, not just like wash and you get out. It's like, okay, just really taking more time to just really be familiar and just just tapping into that side of you where you can touch yourself and where you can even like just applying lotion and things like that. It's like just really starting to appreciate those things a little bit more, right?
That's so cool.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's something that we don't necessarily think about doing, just like me, I'm like, how did you do it? Like, I couldn't, but then like,
yeah.
Other things that you feel good. I joke about back the most sensual thing. Sometimes I'll do like acupressure on my face and on my eyebrows all the time. And it's like just that tender kind of on my face. Like you get that orgasm before you're hearing it, and all I did was do my eyebrows. Or like,
or even food, right?
Yeah.
Right, and just like I said, just like your senses are heightened, like just even eating food, and you're a lot more aware of like how the texture is smell, the flavors, and the glass of wine, and like all those things, because now all of a sudden like, I can't release right now, and I'm so aware, like hyper aware of everything. So it's like I said, just flavors and touch. Even a hug now is just like, oh, I'm more present with that.
Even touch, oh my goodness. Rare. I don't really like remember with the pandemic. Like here in the US, we're wearing masks. I'm in Florida, so we're Florida people, so gallivanting. I'm not. Yeah. But people still are. In my job, people are getting burnt out so quickly. They're so irritable because I can't have lunch with people that are my friends. I'm not in a meeting where I can like, hey, I'm not super shit, like pat someone on the back.
Or stand close to them.
Not the power of touch is so important for those people who are alone, living alone. I truly feel for them because I don't know how I can do it. I need a picture of touch. I want human interaction. I like my dog. Sometimes I'm at night, she's with warm. I need that body. I need to feel that another person. Yeah. So how are you? I know you have your kids like every other week, so like get interaction. Yeah. But when you're alone for that week, are you more aware, or how are you doing with life in the pandemic?
Basically, because I do massage, I love the fact I literally have somebody here every day. I have somebody here every day, and I'm still a hugger. I still hug. I don't, every time that my clients leave, they come in and they leave, I hug. I am. Some people don't, and that's totally fine. I respect that, but I'm a hugger. So I think even just giving that massage, just being able to touch other people fills me up.
Absolutely.
Like it gives me that tactile sense. So it's very, very important.
I will say one of my most satisfying careers in life was being a massage therapist and esthetician.
Oh.
The instant gratification is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm literally within an hour fixing this person's being, like fixing their energy, fixing their outlook. And I worked in the spas and in the hotels, so like my clients weren't regular. I only saw them while they were on vacation. So maybe I saw them 3 times while they were on their stay for a week.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of regular clients. I started right out of school with prenatal massage because I was like, I had this infatuation with like massaging pregnant women. So I'm like, they need it.
Yeah.
And like they, out of all the people, will appreciate a good, relaxing massage. And they, out of all people, need that hour to just disconnect from what is occurring in their body without them doing anything.
Absolutely.
So I used to do a lot of prenatal out of school, and then I got into the spas. But it was probably the most satisfying career. I mean, people would be like, "You have hands from the gods," and I'm like, "I got little tiny hands," like, And or like someone be like, "Oh, your hands are so warm," or "Are you wearing heating pads?" I'm like, "No, it's just my little tiny hands." It was I probably had the least amount of stress because how could you? I listen to spa music all day. I smell lavender.
Right?
Like, how could I be stressed out? So, do you feel the same way? Like, do you just absolutely love your job?
I love it, 100%. And I've been doing it for like 20 plus years. Like, I love it. And I work from home, which is awesome. Like, and I have just a tiny little space. And so, literally, when people walk into my house, they instantly feel like sometimes they don't even know how to explain it, but it's just as soon as you walk in the house, it's just a sense of calm because the energy is just so safe in here. And I could just, and I love it. Like, I mean, my little tiny room that I'm in right now is just off my kitchen. So people come in and it just feels like you're coming to a friend's house. And you just come in, you get massage, and and there's other things that I do, like the other energy work and stuff that I do as well. But it's just, it just works and it just fills me up so much. I absolutely love it. The last thing I just started working on with my mentor is called life balance. So it's basically mixing a few different modalities, and I'm actually literally reading the physical body, the energetic field using the physical body. And so that's kind of cool because like after 20 years, like my hands are taking a bit of a bit of stress.
Another reason I love to retreat.
Yes.
I felt like so here. Get to where I was my hands and wrists and fingers, and I just didn't want to put that repetitive motion all the time on, and I still say like I'm going to the issue, but I'm like terrified of this life, the body, but I also feel like a lot of podcasts get stuck in this box of like Swedish, deep tissue, hot stove. This is what you're gonna get. Nothing else. Feel it. And the way I massage is like, sure, you can book a deep tissue, but I'm not gonna give you deep tissue throughout your entire body. Like, you would not be able to get off my table. Like, also, I can't do that in an hour. Like, people are ridiculous. So I kind of did the same thing where like I just kind of intuitively just flowed around the body depending on, and I just let the body speak to me. I let my hands kind of do the work of finding where they needed the most work. So well,
I love it.
Thank you. We're gonna kind of wrap it up. Thank you so much, Selena. Right, Selena?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And it's the French way, right?
It's Métis. So yeah, it's like a French sort of a twist, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Selena, for coming on The Element and speaking with me today about your tantra journey as well as your body positivity and all the other things we talked about today. I really enjoyed it. You guys can follow her and you can give your handle.
Body positive _model.
Awesome. And you can follow me at The Element with 2 T's or at L_curve. You, everyone who is still in here, we really appreciate it. And look forward to speaking to you some more.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.